Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in numismatics, where a humble coin might just be worth a small fortune. Rarest coins. We're talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny, a coin that you might have in your pocket right now but could be worth up to a staggering $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.7 million. But how can a penny be worth so much? What makes this particular coin so special? Let's take a closer look at the history, value, and incredible worth of the 1968 Lincoln penny. Section 1. The history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, was first introduced in 1909. Marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it featured a profile of Lincoln on the obverse, which remains unchanged to this day. The reverse originally depicted a wheat stalk, giving rise to the term wheat penny, which was used until 1958. After that, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial. Now, fast forward to 1968. This was a transitional year for U.S. currency, and the 1968 penny is part of that pivotal period in numismatic history. The S mint mark on the coin indicates it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. But don't be fooled that this coin wasn't just another regular penny. It was during this year that some very unusual things were happening with coin production. Section 2. The 1968 Lincoln penny and its unique features. At first glance, the 1968 Lincoln penny may seem like any other penny in your pocket. However, its significance lies in one key detail: the infamous double die error. This error occurs when the coin's die, the metal stamp used to strike coins, gets misaligned during the minting process. As a result, the coin ends up with a noticeable duplication of the design elements, especially on the letters of Liberty and the date. This mistake is rare, and it's why the 1968 double die penny is so valuable. Though many 1968 pennies were minted, only a few survived with this error, making them highly sought after by collectors. In fact, a well-preserved example of this rare coin could fetch a price far higher than the face value of a mere cent. Section 3. How the 1968 Lincoln penny could be worth $1.7 million. The true value of a 1968 Lincoln penny comes down to its rarity and condition. A penny that has been graded as an MS 67, mint state 67, or higher, meaning it's in near-perfect condition, can be worth thousands of dollars. But the ultimate price comes when one of these rare coins has the double die error and in exceptional condition. In 2018, a 1968 Lincoln penny with the double die error sold at auction for an unbelievable $1.7 million. This rare sale captured the attention of coin collectors and investors everywhere. Imagine finding a penny worth that much. It's a testament to the incredible value that rare errors can bring in the world of coin collecting. And the reason these coins go for such astronomical amounts is because of the perfect combination of rarity, error, and the condition of the coin. Section 4. How to identify a valuable 1968 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be wondering, could I have one of these pennies sitting in my collection or even in my change jar? It's possible, but first, let's talk about how to identify a valuable 1968 penny. 1. Look for the S mint mark. As we mentioned earlier, the S mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint. You can find this on the obverse side of the penny, near the bottom right of Lincoln's shoulder. 2. Check for the double die error. This is the key feature that makes the 1968 penny so valuable. The double die error is most noticeable on the date and the word Liberty. If the letters appear doubled or blurry, then it's a sign that the penny might be an error coin. 3. Condition is key. The value of a coin greatly depends on its condition. The higher the grade, the more money it could be worth. Coins in excellent condition with little to no wear are far more valuable. If your penny is in great shape and shows little to no signs of circulation, you might have a potential gem on your hands. Section 5. How to get your 1968 S Lincoln Penny graded. If you believe you've found a 1968 S Lincoln Penny with the double die error, the next step is to get it graded. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition, and it's done by professional organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll assign a grade to your coin, which will directly affect its value in the marketplace. Grading might seem like an extra step, but it's crucial if you want to get top dollar for your rare coin. Once graded, you can sell the coin through auction houses or coin dealers, or even keep it in your collection as an investment that appreciates in value over time. Section 6. Conclusion. So, what have we learned today? The 1968 S Lincoln Penny is much more than just a 1-cent coin. Due to its rarity and the unique double die error, it has the potential to be worth an incredible $1.7 million, depending on its condition and the demand from collectors. If you happen to stumble upon one of these rare gems, you could be holding onto a piece of history that's worth far more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos about coin collecting, hidden treasures, and the fascinating world of numismatics. Who knows, maybe you'll find a coin worth a fortune in your pocket soon. See you next time. And screen, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to get notified about future videos. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most interesting stories in the world of numismatics, the 1982 Lincoln Penny. At first glance, a penny may seem like a small, insignificant coin, but this particular year holds a very special place in the hearts of collectors, and for good reason. A 1982 Lincoln Penny could potentially be worth as much as $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.3 million. But how can a penny that's worth just 1 cent become so valuable? What makes the 1982 penny such a treasure? Let's explore the history, value, and incredible worth of the 1982 Lincoln Penny. Section 1. The history of the Lincoln Penny. The Lincoln Penny has been a staple of American currency since it was first introduced in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was initially created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, this coin has undergone various design changes, but one thing has remained constant: the iconic image of President Lincoln on the obverse. The reverse design of the penny has changed twice during its history. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse featured 2 stalks of wheat, which became known as the wheat penny. In 1959, the design was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial to honor Lincoln's legacy, and this design continued until 2008 when it was replaced by a new reverse to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. Now, the 1982 Lincoln Penny is unique because it marks a turning point in the penny's history. It's a year of transition, and that's where things get interesting. Section 2. The big change in 1982. A shift in composition. 1982 was a pivotal year for U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint decided to make a significant change in the composition of the penny. Prior to 1982, pennies were made primarily from copper. However, due to rising copper prices, the Mint decided to change the penny's composition to a copper-plated zinc formula. This change created 2 distinct types of pennies: those made of 95% copper and those made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. Here's where things get interesting. The 1982 Lincoln pennies are a mix of both compositions, and this is where the value comes in. Pennies struck in 1982 that are made of copper are much rarer than those made of the new zinc composition, and they can be worth much more to collectors. Section 3. Identifying the valuable 1982 copper penny. So how can you tell if you've got one of these rare, valuable pennies in your collection? The answer lies in the weight and the composition of the coin. 1. The weight test. The copper pennies from 1982 weigh around 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies only weigh about 2.5 grams. If you've got a penny from 1982 and it weighs 3.11 grams, there's a good chance it's made from the old copper composition. Keep in mind that the zinc pennies are the more common variety, and finding one of the copper ones is the key to its higher value. 2. The mint mark. The 1982 pennies with the copper composition were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, or lack of one for Philadelphia coins, is located near the base of Lincoln's shoulder. You'll need to pay attention to this detail when evaluating your coin. Section 4. The rare 1982 copper penny and its value. Now that you know how to identify the rare copper pennies, let's talk about how valuable they can be. The 1982 copper penny has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world due to its rarity. While most 1982 pennies were made from the new zinc formula, a small number were still struck with the old copper composition before the mint fully transitioned to the new design. Coins with the 95% copper composition are highly collectible, especially when they are in great condition. In fact, some of these pennies have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. However, the most valuable 1982 copper penny to date was sold for a mind-blowing $1.3 million. This particular penny was one of the rarest examples of a 1982 copper penny. It was a flawless specimen that had been perfectly preserved over the years. Due to the rarity and condition, it was able to fetch such a high price at auction. The $1.3 million sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic world and caught the attention of collectors everywhere. Section 5. Why do 1982 copper pennies fetch such high prices? So why are these pennies worth so much? The answer is a combination of rarity, demand, and historical significance. First, the number of copper pennies struck in 1982 is relatively small compared to the zinc pennies, making them a rare find. Second, because these pennies were produced during a period of significant change in U.S. coinage, they have become valuable to collectors who appreciate the history behind the coin. Additionally, the fact that these pennies are still circulating today means they are difficult to find in mint condition. Most pennies from this era have been worn down through circulation, making any well-preserved examples even more valuable. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are in pristine condition, as these coins are the ones that command the highest prices at auctions. Section 6. How to get your 1982 copper penny graded. If you believe you've found a valuable 1982 copper penny, the next step is to get it graded by a professional grading service. Organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, will evaluate the condition of your coin and assign it a grade. Coins in higher grades, like MS65 or above, can be worth much more than those in lower grades. Grading is essential when it comes to selling or trading rare coins because it determines the coin's market value. If you have a 1982 copper penny that is in great condition, grading it could increase its value significantly. Section 7. Conclusion. The 1982 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin, but it holds a special place in the world of numismatics. Due to the change in composition and rarity of the copper version of the penny, it has become one of the most valuable coins to collect. If you happen to find one of these rare pennies, it could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. Remember, the key to its value is its composition and condition, so always check your 1982 pennies carefully. And who knows, you might be holding onto a piece of history worth $1.3 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of coin collecting. Keep an eye out for those rare coins, and you never know what you might find. And screen. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos on rare coins, hidden treasures, and everything you need to know about numismatics. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind everyday change that could make you a millionaire. Today, we're talking about a tiny coin with a big story, the 2070 Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin you may have in your pocket right now could be worth up to $1.1 million. Let's break down the history, the mystery, and the insane value of this modern-day copper treasure. First off, let's talk about the basics. The Lincoln penny, as many of you know, has been around since 1909. It was first released to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, The obverse side features Lincoln's iconic profile, and over the decades, the reverse side has undergone several changes. But the 2007 D penny is unique for reasons far beyond its design. So what makes a 2007 D penny from the Denver Mint so special? Why would someone pay over $1 million for a coin that literally says 1 cent on the back? Well, here's the deal. Most 2007 D Lincoln pennies are made from copper-plated zinc. They're pretty standard. Billions were minted, and they're still circulating today. But in a few ultra-rare cases, something went very, very wrong. A broken bar or right, depending on how you look at it. A few of these 2007 D pennies were accidentally struck on a bronze planchet. That's the kind of metal used for pennies back in the early 1980s. Before the switch to zinc. This kind of error shouldn't happen, but when it does, it creates what collectors call a transitional error. And when you're dealing with transitional errors, especially ones that are nearly impossible to replicate, the value can skyrocket. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. In one case, a 2007 D penny struck on a 95% copper planchet was authenticated by a top grading service. It was found in nearly perfect condition and graded MS68 red. That grade, by the way, means mint state, almost flawless, with the vibrant red tone that collectors absolutely love. Because of its rarity, condition, and the fact that it was a transitional error, that one penny sold for an unbelievable $1.1 million at auction. Let that sink in for a second. 1 cent turned into over $1 million. This is the kind of story that keeps coin collectors up at night, and it's exactly why people obsess over their change. So how can you tell if you have one of these $1 million 2007 D pennies? Well, it takes a bit of work, but here's what to look for. First, check the weight. Regular 2007 pennies made from zinc weigh about 2.5 grams. But if you find one that weighs around 3.11 grams, you could be holding a copper planchet error. You'll need a precise digital scale to know for sure. Second, look at the color. Copper planchets tend to have a richer, redder tone than zinc ones, which often appear a bit duller. Third, check for a strong, clear strike and minimal damage. The closer it is to mint condition, the more valuable it is. And finally, if you think you've got something special, don't clean the coin. Seriously, never clean rare coins and get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if it turns out not to be worth $1 million, any error coin from a modern minting process can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So always keep an eye on your pocket change. That weird penny you almost used to buy gum might just be your ticket to financial freedom. Let's not forget the 2007 D Lincoln penny isn't the only valuable modern coin out there. There are state quarters, nickels, even dimes with minting errors and rare variations that sell for serious cash. But the 2007 D penny stands out because it's such a dramatic example of how a tiny mistake at the mint can lead to a massive payday. Before we wrap up, here's a fun fact. The United States Mint produces billions of coins every year. With so many being made, mistakes are bound to happen. But because these mistakes are so rare, especially when they go unnoticed and enter circulation, they become instant collectibles. So here's the takeaway. Always check your change, get a scale, learn about error types, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to discover $1 million penny sitting in an old coin jar. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin content, and ring the bell so you never miss a story that could change your life. Got a weird looking penny? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and keep dreaming big. If you want, I can help you turn this into a voice-over script, add on-screen text cues, or even create the title and thumbnail for the video. Want that? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we explore hidden treasures, rare coins, and unbelievable stories that could change your life with just one lucky find. Rarest coins today. We're diving into one of the most surprising and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1967 Lincoln penny. It looks simple, it seems ordinary, but what if I told you that rare version of this coin once sold for an absolutely jaw-dropping $1.7 million? That's right, a 1-cent coin, the kind most of us ignore or throw in a drawer, ended up being worth more than a Ferrari, a house, and a college education combined. So let's take a deep dive into the history, value, and the incredible story behind the 1967 Lincoln penny. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909. Originally created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Over the years, it has gone through design and metal composition changes, and during the 1960s, something very interesting was going on at the U.S. Mint. In 1965, the Mint made a major decision. They stopped putting mint marks on coins. The goal was to discourage hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. That policy continued through 1967, which means all 1967 Lincoln pennies have no mint mark, even though they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So if you've ever looked at a 1967 penny and wondered why it doesn't have a letter under the date, hey, now you know. Now here's where things get exciting. Most 1967 Lincoln cents were struck on a copper alloy plankette made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. They weigh about 3.11 grams and were mass-produced in huge numbers. 8/3 billion of them were made that year. So what could possibly make one of those pennies worth $1.7 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a bit of mystery. Let's talk about the $1 million penny. One specific 1967 Lincoln cent was discovered in what's known as a mint error condition, but it was also in an almost flawless state, graded as MS67+, read by a top-tier coin grading service. What does that mean? Well, MS stands for mint state, and 67+ is an incredibly high grade. Nearly perfect. The red label indicates the coin still has its full original copper luster, just as it looked when it was minted. Only one known example has surfaced with this rare combination of features, which includes some microscopic doubling on the lettering A, a type of doubling that occurs during the minting process, and a plankette that appears to be a transitional leftover from earlier years. It was also flawlessly preserved, meaning no scratches, no wear, no fingerprints, pure perfection. Because of its condition and uniqueness, this particular penny became the centerpiece of a major private auction where elite collectors fought to own it. When the hammer finally dropped, it sold for a staggering $1.7 million. Think about that for a second. A penny that cost the government less than a cent to produce ended up being one of the most valuable coins in American history. It's a story that still stuns even the most experienced numismatists. So now you're probably asking, how can I find out if I have a valuable 1967 penny? Here's what to look for. First, check the weight. A genuine 1967 Lincoln cent should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's significantly heavier or lighter, that could be a sign of a plankette error. Second, look at the color. A rich, reddish tone suggests it has retained its original mint luster. These red graded coins are worth far more than brown or even red-brown ones. Third, examine the details. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to check for doubling on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." This could indicate a double-die variety, a very desirable error among collectors. Finally, and most importantly, if you think your coin looks pristine or strange in any way, do not clean it and do not try to improve it. Cleaning can ruin a coin's value instantly. Instead, take it to a certified coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if it's not worth millions, some high-grade 1967 Lincoln pennies can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. An MS66 red example, for instance, can sell for up to $300 to $500, and the rare MS67 grades, even without unique errors, are highly collectible. It just goes to show, a treasure really can hide in plain sight. That little copper coin in your change drawer might not just be pocket change, it might be life-changing. Before we wrap up, Here's a fun piece of trivia. In 1967, while the U.S. Mint was battling coin shortages and removing mint marks, American culture was exploding with change. The Beatles were at their peak, the Vietnam War protests were sweeping the nation, and civil rights movements were transforming society. That tiny penny you might find today is a piece of that history, a tangible link to one of the most turbulent and transformative times in American life. So the next time you're going through your old coins, take a closer look at the 1967 Lincoln cent. It might look ordinary, but if you find the right one, it could be worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss the next hidden treasure. And if you think you've got a valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and remember, the next $1 million find could be right in your pocket. Let me know if you'd like help with the matching title, thumbnail idea, or background music recommendations for your video.